Get some cheap shark cards and prep for the ill-gotten gains part 2. Check out G2A in the description and use code BOSS for an extra discount. Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, I'm going to be doing another Q&A video where I take your questions from Twitter and I answer them all in this video. Now, today we're going to be focusing on the Ill-Gotten Gains DLC Part 2. That's definitely what everyone is talking about, and when I asked some questions on Twitter, that's pretty much all I got is questions about Part 2. So I'm going to be talking about that in this episode. If you want to get involved in the next one, be sure to follow me on Twitter. The link is in the description. I announce there once or twice a week when I do these Q&A videos, and I always feature the best questions on the video so that you guys can get involved. So without the way, let's get started. So as I always do with the first question, I'm going to extend it to you guys, meaning I want you to reply to this question in the comment section right now, which comes from the Real Gamer PSN, and he says, do you think that IGG Part 2 will be cheaper than Part 1 considering Rockstar got so much hate for Part 1? Now, I don't know if Rockstar got a ton of hate for Part 1. I actually enjoyed the Ill-Gotten Gains DLC. I think it was too expensive, but again, I've talked about that in the past, and I do think it is going to be cheaper. I'm almost 100% positive that Rockstar knows how expensive that DLC was, and if they price it the exact same way, how is anyone going to be able to afford this? I mean, some people couldn't even afford all the stuff, and logically, because it costed like $20 million in-game, all the stuff in Part 1. So if they think that people are just going to be able to like play Heist within a month and get $20 million back, I don't think so. It's not that easy. So yes, I do think it's going to be cheaper. To what extent, I'm not sure, but hopefully they do listen and make it less expensive than Part 1. Next question comes from Tucker the Boss 17, and he says, do you think that the next part of the Ill-Gotten Gains DLC will include another $10 million or $5 million item to buy? And I sure hope not. I think that was a gimmick that did not go over well. I'm assuming they thought everyone was going to laugh and say, oh, that's so funny, you know, why would we not ever buy that? But everyone did and was either super disappointed with their choice or either didn't have the money and questioning why it was even in the game in the first place. I mean, $10 million for a reskinned vehicle with a gold paint job and one new feature on the inside that was only available on the next generation consoles. So hopefully not. I hope that was just a running joke for Part 1, and hopefully that isn't something we see in Part 2, because I know I would be super disappointed and I would definitely not buy anything that has a gold paint job. I can imagine like a gold scooter or something just ridiculously expensive just because it has a new gold paint job on it. The Lone Wolf Gamer says, what types of cars do you want to see in the IGG DLC? Now, we got some pretty cool cars in the first part. We obviously got a supercar, which was pretty epic, a sports classic, and we also got a coupe. I want to see a sports car, maybe a new truck, something along the lines of that. I think a sports car is definitely on my list of like one of the #1 things I'd like to see, because there aren't really any cars up at the top to battle the Massacro and the Elegy and the Jester. There's like no cars to compete with those right now in the sports car category. So I think if one of those cars were to be a sports car that was, one, really cool looking and really great performance wise, that it would be awesome to have in the IGG Part 2. Our next question comes from Jerome, and he says, is there a possibility of buying a 4th apartment after the IGG Part 2 DLC? And yes, I think there is going to be the chance that we get a 4th apartment. In fact, I was really surprised that we didn't get one in Part 1 with all the new additions of new cars and obviously new Pegasus vehicles being added. I was really surprised we didn't get a new garage, and hopefully in Part 2, because if you have 3 garages, you're maxed at 30 cars, and I know that there's been well over 30 DLC cars added in GTA 5, so you definitely can't have everything, and I think that it would be very much necessary for Rockstar to add a 4th apartment, or a 4th garage, or even maybe a garage update where they allow more than 10 cars in a certain garage, maybe bumping it up to 10 or even possibly 20. So Dexter Watson asks a really good question. He says, do you think old gen is holding the next generation back in terms of some of the things that can only be added in the DLC on new gen? And I don't think so, because we've already seen Rockstar scaling back what they're putting in the old generation. I mean, just from the Ill-Gotten Gains Part 1, they didn't include like the weapon skins, like the Yusuf Amir gold luxury camo, and the $10 million and $5 million aircrafts. Those features were left out. So granted, they are tiny things, but no, I do not think that old generation is holding back next generation. If anything, I think Rockstar would just not include, which is what they've done, stuff on old generation that new generation got. So I don't think so, because Rockstar is obviously just not putting some of the new gen content on old gen. And our last question comes from Codzilla. He says, is there any chance of the stock market coming to GTA Online in the IGG Part 2? Now, this would really fit the theme. The Ill-Gotten Gains DLC is kind of like a high roller slash heavy money illegal gotten gains theme. And it would be really cool to see the stock market come into Grand Theft Auto Online. But I don't think the stock market was a plan for GTA Online in Rockstar's turn. It would have come much earlier than this. There were lots of other DLCs where they could have implemented the stock market, and I think it would be a hassle for Rockstar to manage, whether it be money glitches or just unbalancing the Grand Theft Auto Online economy. I think it would be really hard to manage on their end, so it'd definitely be difficult to put in the game. But if this was the one DLC where they were going to add something like a stock market, it would certainly fit the theme of a high roller ill-gotten gains. So would I love the stock market? Yes. Do I think it's going to come? No, not really. Anyways, that's all the questions that I've got for you guys today. Hopefully you did enjoy, and hopefully you did enjoy the theme of Ill-Gotten Gains Part 2. Once again, if you want to get involved in the next one, be sure to follow me on Twitter. Link is down there in the description. I announce there once or twice a week when I do these Q&A videos, and of course, you can get involved in the next one. Once again, if you did enjoy it, like rating would be awesome, and of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you like daily Grand Theft Auto 5 videos like this. With out of the way, guys, like I said, thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.